these two items up on auction. One is a flat Spokeshave, and the other one I thought was a Mastercraft, not Canadian Tire. This is actually a made in England one, number 4, but it actually turned out to be a number 3. I'm not sure if you can see that there. Lighting in the shop here is kind of, it sucks, but anyhow, that's what we got to work with. And I don't know, I saw some pictures of it and it looked pretty good. It's the same size as the number 4 plane. Sorry, I got some dust there. Which is this guy right here. And you can see that the length is almost identical. It's just the difference in the sole, which you can see a height difference there of maybe about a half an inch or so. Anyhow, the weights are pretty much the same. It's obviously the number 3 is going to be lighter than the number 4 for a smoothing plane. Side by side. This is the old Swedish one that I use, and I'm pretty happy with that. I was hoping to get a UK version. This one is the Mastercraft one, is made in England. But anyhow, for the price that I paid for the two of them was about $70 Canadian, so that's a pretty good deal. But what we're going to look at first is the Spokeshave. The Spokeshave is a German model. And I'll just take it apart here. Both the tools that I picked up were in very good condition. Screw all the way out. And we'll talk about the iron first. Sorry for the glare, but I'm not sure if you guys can see it. It's a Brit Zone, made in Germany. I've gone ahead and already flattened the back of the iron here and polished it a little bit. It was pretty flat to begin with, and then I polished and sharpened the front of it. Fairly standard. Got it fairly sharp, so that should work nicely. The next thing I was going to work on was cleaning up the sole. I started to flatten the sole across here, and I'm not sure if it shows up on the camera or not, but you can see it's polishing right on the edges here. And I put a ruler across there to see how flat it is. It's not too bad, but I think we can get it a little bit closer. Now the Spokeshave, the way it works is when you're drawing it across wood, it doesn't necessarily have to be perfectly flat because you're referencing only a small portion of a cut. So whether it's to the left or the right or whichever in the middle, it doesn't really have to be that flat, but I think we can get it a little bit flatter. There's many ways of flattening these. The first cuts that I took off here to find out how flat it was on my diamond plate. I'm not going to go and use or try and get this flatter using the diamond plate. It's just going to burn up the plate prematurely, so I'm going to do a file first, just a regular flat file here, and then use some paper. So we'll see how that works out. I've got a little bit cattywampus in the vise here, but it should hold it. And we'll just take some. I think you can start to see that where the file is taking it off, it's a fairly fine file. You can see it's actually is pretty smooth there, but along the back and just kind of starting to hit along the front. So what I'd like to do is get these two shiny parts to touch somewhere kind of in the middle there and along the back edge, and then we'll just put it on some paper and then the stone to give it a little bit more flattening. But then again, it doesn't have to be perfectly flat, so we'll see how that turns out. Stick a Sharpie. Put some marks across here just to see what we're taking off. Okay, you can start to see it slowly starting to get there, but work on this. Okay, so you can see most of the lines have disappeared. Just got a small section there, and it's feeling pretty nice. You can see all the everything that I've taken off so far. Now, switch to a diamond plate. Keep a bunch of sandpaper around that I've used for working on other tools. I like using this blue stuff, this Norton Sand Pro 120. What I do is I just put it onto my diamond plate, which is pretty flat. Just put it on there like that. And keeping a pretty even, firm pressure. Trying to keep it as flat as possible. And now all the lines have disappeared, and it looks pretty flat. That back edge here is even starting to feel a little bit sharp, being flattened. Okay, nice. So we'll just put that aside. Put some marks on here again. Now this diamond plate, sorry about the glare. So the coarse side, which is this one here, is at 325. And then the extra fine is 1200. Same thing, just put it onto the plate. And keep even pressure downward. Across the grain. And you can see it's taking off most of the marks there. Won't just wide enough. Flip it around. Trying to keep the pressure even throughout the sole. Moving it around on the plate as well. Okay, that leading edge now, you can see all the marks are gone off of it. And it's pretty flat with the back edge as well. The sides are a little bit higher, but that's fine. Just because we can. I do like this sharpener because it comes with a little case with a little rubber pad on the back, and it holds the plate fairly well. Okay, so now the extra fine. Yep, I think we're there. Okay. So that's sharpened. And then for this guy here, let's use a drill. Clean that up a little bit on with the threads. what I use to strop my bits. We can just take the screw and put that on there. And there we've got a nice polished screw. Okay. The rest of it I'm just going to leave as is because I think I like the look of the paint that's worn off here. I'm pretty sure this is fairly old. The guy that did own it before me took very good care of his tools. So I've got no problem in respecting that heritage. And same thing with the iron, we're just going to leave it how it looks there. Put that guy in there. Flat along the bench. Cap iron. Blade holder, I'm not sure what that's called actually. Got the blade all the way down, and you can adjust it by loosening off this thumb screw, moving that around, cinch that tight. Let's flip it off to the right there. Just want to take that off. What I was doing is basically just looking down the throat, down through here to see how the blade was lining up. And on this side it looks like it's fairly even. Okay, we'll tighten that down and let's see if we can take a cut off of something. Okay, I found a chunk of wood here. Happens to be a piece of pressure treated. Okay, the front edge is pretty starting to cut there, but yeah, it's not. So let's see if we can adjust this a little bit. Try and do this for the camera. So we'll loosen that off a little bit. Tapping on the table. Let's see how that works. Ah, there you go. Oh, cuts pretty nice. And typically what woodworkers will do is they'll adjust one side heavy and one side a little bit lighter. This side would actually be heavier because you can see the blade's kind of sticking through a little bit more here than over here, so this would be a lighter cut and a heavier cut. So as you're working, you can take off more of a shaving on this side and then less one on this side. Actually, this front edge is really starting to dig in. I think what we'll do, we'll just take this edge down a little bit. Before I do that, let's loosen this off. Take this apart again. Take the blade out. And I guess we can just use the fine one. I'm just going to roll that front edge, going from flat, and then slowly raising it up. I can really feel it cutting into that steel. It's shifting the plate across. Okay, that's a little bit better. It becomes an issue. I think what we'll have to do is take a file to it, but let's try that again. You really don't have to tighten that screw past finger tight, because you can use the thumb screw to cinch everything down. Okay, let's see how that works. Okay, well, that's a fairly heavy cut and a fairly light one. I have to adjust that back a little bit. Let's try that. Yeah, it's still pretty, that's cutting fairly nicely. Once again, you get the idea. It's thinner over here and then a more heavier cut, so you don't have to readjust between. Oh, it cuts nicely. Shavings are coming off nice and clear, and it leaves the wood behind fairly smooth as well. Yeah, I think that'll work. I was quite happy to get one of these. I haven't owned one, or don't own one as it is, so we'll see what kind of projects we can start using on it, and fairly happy about it.